getting over my infatuation with a coworker. I, 40/M, have found myself in the throes of infatuation with a female coworker, F/33, and it's starting to really wear me down. I am currently in a stable relationship of 6 years with my live-in girlfriend, and we have built about a day I fucked up a home for ourselves. Over this time I have also grown very close to this coworker. The attraction was not immediate, but given the proximity of our work together, remotely for now, in the age of COVID, and discovering many shared mutual interests, we have grown to be confidants. Other co-workers, including my manager, have mentioned that they thought we were already in a romantic relationship due to our comfort with each other and easy banter. I now find myself constantly thinking about her, to the point that it has become a real distraction and I'm feeling like a piece of garbage for the way I feel. I often find that she is the last thing I think of when I go to bed at night, and usually the first thing I'm thinking of when I wake up. I know this is a childish passing fancy, but it really weighs on me. To be clear, I would never entertain the thought of being unfaithful to my significant other, though I can't help feeling that I've already crossed a line. There have been no outward professions of anything more than friendship, at most a mutual "I've missed you," after one of us has been on vacation or unavailable for a length of time. At this point I don't want to impact our friendship or work relationship, but I really need to move on and get this out of my system. Maybe just writing this down will help in some way. Do any fellow Redditors have a similar experience, and how did you best overcome this? Too long didn't read. I'm in a happy relationship, but I can't get over my attraction to my coworker. You need to take a big step back and be strictly professional with her. Stop all the banter, the friendly things and chatting about personal lives. Concentrate on being more caring towards your partner. Start putting your girlfriend as a higher priority than the coworker with your emotions, your time, getting little things that she likes, asking about her day, getting her favorite food. Be romantic in your relationship with your girlfriend and not your coworker. If it's bad enough you're posting on Reddit about it, you need to switch to being strictly professional with her. There's a voice in your head that tells you what you're doing is not okay and not sustainable. You can't help how you feel, but you can control your actions and your wife needs to come first. Your crush will start to question why you're being distant. I suggest you be vague and tell her it's something in your personal life. This makes it clear to her that she is not part of your personal life. You need to distance yourself from her and keep things strictly professional going forward. Nothing good is going to come of having her as a confidant. How would you feel if your girlfriend had a similar friendship with another man? I think you feel so shitty because this isn't just a silly crush anymore. It's crossed the line into something more akin to an emotional affair. Some folks consider those worse than physical affairs. Even if you guys haven't traded illusions or anything romantic, it's a close personal relationship with another woman whom you've now grown attracted to and fantasize about being with. The only way stop this is to distance yourself from her and stop being so close with her. I think it's time to tell your GF what's been going on and your plan of action. Then go to the coworker and let her know you're going to need to keep things strictly professional and stop non-work related communication. You also need to redouble your efforts into investing in your relationship with your GF and rebuilding intimacy and connection with her. My boyfriend, 28, is handicapped and depressed and I don't know how to help. Hello, I'm a 22-year-old female and I am dating a 28-year-old male that has some problems. I desperately want to help him and fix the problems, but I just don't know how. We have been dating for 2 years. He is legally blind, albino, and has some mental issues that are concerning but rarely show up. When we met it was just a few months after his divorce. He asked me out about a month after we met and we fell so deeply in love. It was intoxicating. I've never dated anyone like him before. He is incredibly supportive and understanding. Since the start of lockdown we haven't seen one another as much as we'd like. He is sinking into a deep depression involving the fact that I will graduate college before him despite his many years taking school. His home life isn't where he'd like it to be. He feels helpless due to his handicaps, and he fears me leaving because of his divorce. His wife had openly lied to his face that she would stay with him before she divorced him. She had her own issues, so her leaving him has made him feel less than dirt. I just don't know how to make him feel better while we are unable to see one another in person. I also don't know how to handle issues relating to his handicaps. Does anyone have any experience with this? Too long didn't read. My boyfriend is depressed and handicapped. Some of the depression deals with his handicaps and some about his divorce. How do I help? Encourage him to get therapy if he doesn't already. Other than that, there's really nothing to do. Be supportive, be there, be understanding and willing to reassure, but this is something that has to be done on his own. My husband is slowly going blind, and was hospitalized 4 years ago for depression, which he hasn't really recovered from. Although he's doing much better, there are times when we were LD and he'd forget to eat, or shower, or go to bed. Luckily, I've started living with him shortly after, so I was there to remind him, and sometimes it was constant reminders. All day long, I love you texts, don't forget to eat texts, be sure to get some sleep texts. We'd also send each other letters to ease the distance. Don't know what the mental issues are, but I know my husband has some mild autism, and I had to learn to express my feelings really plainly and in no uncertain terms, especially while we were away. The important thing is to realize there's no magical word or action that can make it all go away. In a relationship like that, the burden of doing the work to get better is on him. You just have to be there for him, and you have to make peace with that fact. But love, understanding, sweet care packages, and schedules can help a lot. Wow, that's a lot to digest. First, you're 22 years old, just getting ready to graduate from college, still not really sure what the future holds, but ready to see where it takes you. You are also madly in love with a physically and mentally disabled man who is also divorced, meaning he's already somewhat had a whole life you really don't know anything about. You say he gets depressed because of his limitations and is depressed because you might leave him. I'm curious as to how his depression is your fault when he had a life before you came along, again that you know nothing about. I have nothing but love and empathy for others' disabilities, but what has he been doing about his depression and physical disabilities besides guilting you into essentially taking care of him? Is he seeing a therapist? Does he take medications? If he working with therapeutic professionals for blind and or visually impaired people? What is he doing for himself? You, my dear, cannot take care of anyone who is not willing to do the work towards bettering themselves. You can't save him, and if he really loves you, he would do everything in his power to better himself. Much love, my sister. Blessing and namaste. Heart with arrow. First thing, understand that you can't fix him/his mental illness, and that is okay. You are his GF, not his therapist, so don't put the pressure on yourself lest you end up in the same position. And simply put, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You can only support him. Best way to do that is research how to support someone with depression. There are many resources online for this. I'm sure it helps him to know that he has you to be with him and listen to him. I wish I had more to suggest, but good luck. Please reconsider that it is your responsibility to fix his problems. The extent of his depression seems to be jealousy that you, a much younger woman, will graduate school before him. He sees your success as a threat to him. He sounds emotionally insecure. You can't fix that for him. What are you going to do? Stop succeeding to boost his ego. Do not sacrifice your joy to boost him. That isn't fair, and it's not how healthy relationships work. While he may benefit from therapy, you can't force him to go. You can encourage him to go, or to do other things that might boost his mood. But you should not simply accept his complaining about your success. What you can and should do is tell him to stop blaming you. I assume it doesn't make you feel great to hear that stuff. Tell him, set boundaries, and enforce them. If he doesn't respect them, break up. 2 other things. First, being disabled is not a reason to feel bad for him. People with disabilities are not objects for sympathy or for inspiration. We're just people. If he's trying to get sympathy for it, he's manipulating you. Second, beware a guy who demonizes his ex. He's probably using it to manipulate you. Tons of people have crappy exes and move beyond it. Oh, and he has issues that are serious but don't come up a lot. That sounds worrisome. Eater, you said in another comment that he's a diagnosed sociopath. Girl, he is manipulating you. That's literally what sociopaths do. He's not gonna go to therapy because he's a sociopath. Please leave and go, no contact now. Get your own therapist. I really don't like this trap he's set for you where you have to prove you won't leave like his ex-wife did. He's got you focused on proving your loyalty and your worth as a partner to him instead of realizing that it should be a mutual equal partnership and either of you should be free to leave at any time if the relationship is no longer working for you. I also don't like that he's making you feel guilty about his problems causing him to have a delayed end to his education. The fact that you're finishing when you are doesn't have anything to do with why he's finishing when he is. They're simply unrelated facts. Yet he is linking them, perhaps in a subconscious attempt to guilt you into sabotaging your own education. Please recognize that none of his problems are for you to fix. You're his girlfriend, and you can support him through his troubles. But you're not a therapist or any kind of doctor, and even if you were, it would be unethical for your boyfriend to be your patient. My 26F coworker, 36F, is innocently insufferable and I'm losing my mind. I work in a daycare center in an infant room. My coworker Kat and I take care of 6 to 8 babies every day. I don't know if Kat has a learning disability, ADHD, is on the spectrum, or anything in between, but I know there is something off and working with her is a mental, emotional, and physical chore. She is forgetful, messy, unorganized, and has zero common sense. She will be looking right at something and say, "I don't see it." I'll ask her if she did something, warmed a bottle, changed a diaper, and she replies with, "Oh, I was going to, but then I forgot." Her handwriting is atrocious and she misspells everything constantly and doesn't notice until I point it out. I have to rise up where she falls constantly. To top it all off, she rambles on and on all day about things that are irrelevant and that I don't care about. She tells long-winded, convoluted stories that have no point and will describe her nights and weekends to me in excruciating detail. One day, she listed both of her son's teachers' names to me in chronological order, from preschool to middle school, unprompted. She has no idea that I am not at all interested in most of what she has to say. Now Kat is a lovely person. She is a single mom raising 2 boys and would give the shirt off her back for me, or anyone. We've worked together for a long time. She is sweet and gentle and loving and the babies in our classroom adore her. I just don't know how much longer I can suppress the urge to tell her to shut up and clean up and pay attention. Every day with her is mentally exhausting for me. I'm trying my best to be a good friend, but it's so tough. I know she's had kind of a hard life and maybe she needs someone who will listen to her. But I'm at the edge. Too long didn't read. My coworker is insufferable at no fault of her own. How do I not lose my head? Closing your eyes and counting to 10 actually helps. Breathing through the initial burst of upset does also. A lot of this sounds like it could potentially be ADHD. Is your work relationship close enough that you could ask her, gently and kindly, if she's ever been evaluated for ADHD? Agreed, she sounds exactly like a coworker I used to have who would say, "I totally have ADHD, I just never take my meds." Talk to her the next time something happens. "Oh, I was going to, but I totally forgot." I've noticed you've been saying this a bunch lately. Is there anything that helps you remember, or work strategies we could use to figure out a way to make it easier? It's obviously important that the thing happens. As well as Kat, I can't chat right now. I'm trying to focus and talking is disrupting my train of thought. Say it kindly and with a smile and as many times as you need to get yourself some mental privacy. You may even want to sit her down in advance of this and say, "Kat, I've got something I need to talk to you about. What with the pandemic lately, I've been noticing my stress level has been getting really high, and one of the things I'm sensitive to is people chatting to me when I'm trying to work. I'm going to probably be asking you for more quiet time the next little bit. Please know I care about you and am not offended and like you as a person, and understand if I tell you that at this moment, I really can't talk."